On episode 26 of RVA Real Estate Talk, will real estate agents become obsolete? It's a question we get all the time. We're going to deep dive into that. If you've wondered that before, this podcast is for you.
You're listening to RVA Real Estate Talk with Jared Davis and Galen Parker, your source for an honest, insightful look into Central Virginia's real estate market. Combined, Jared and Galen have over 20 years sales experience, as well as hundreds of testimonials from clients past and present who rely on them for advice and assistance when buying and selling homes in today's incredibly hot and competitive real estate market. And now, your hosts, Jared Davis and Galen Parker.
I am Jared Davis.
And I am Galen Parker.
How you doing, buddy?
I am your realtor's favorite realtor.
Man, you got that in real fast.
I mean, you got to get in there. Sneak it in there. I'm doing great, man. How are you doing?
I'm fantastic.
I'm lying. I would love some coffee. I was like, as you walked in with the coffee,
we got a different video thing going on now. We can just
they
can
can't
just swap
see it, so they'll
this.
just see it like I like that.
Oh, if you're listening, if you're watching on YouTube, though.
Yeah. I saw that coming in. I was like, man, I wish I could stop get some coffee, but you know what? I'm just gonna go off of just
I had
general
to. I've been to the
excitement.
chiropractor this morning. I've been to get a haircut this
Did you
morning.
get twisted up?
Ratified a deal this morning.
Snack, crackle,
and
and
it's
pop
only
chip?
like, it's 11 now. I guess it's kind of late in the
I
day.
wish it was like 9
I feel
a.m.
like I got a lot done considering what time it is, but maybe not. No, I'm great. We're at the end of the year right now, depending on when you listen to this podcast, but we're moving
like
into the
we
new
made
year.
it after all.
We have been building out a slew of content for you guys. We are splitting YouTube channels, right?
We are indeed.
Why are we doing that?
We are going to take our focus. One, you're going to get more of us. I know that's what you guys wanted. You guys woke up, you said, I need more Galen and Jared. So that's what you're going to get. We're going to have some client-facing focus information. Then we're going to have some, if you're a real estate agent, you have just general questions, how to get into the biz. We're going to scratch that
Itch.
That itch. I was about to say, we're going to
fill that bucket.
We're going to fill that bucket.
That's an
If you guys
insight.
don't know what that means, so like yesterday,
No one knows what that means.
No one. That's not a saying. We were on like a training call, and like the person leading the call was like, "Man, I just love that. That really fills my bucket." Me and Jared like, fills that bucket?
I don't
What's
like
that.
that.
Even mean?
I don't like
I was
it at
just
all.
like, I don't stop saying that. But she kept saying it like over and over again. Like I could like look at the faces of the other people, and they're all like,
Stop. Please
so
stop.
they're like, that's not a thing. But
Yeah,
hey.
so if you listen to this podcast or if you're watching this podcast, we had a lot of local related videos on our channel as well, and so we thought that was a little confusing for you, the consumer. So this podcast is mainly for real estate agents, for people looking to grow their business, grow their teams, investors as well. That's what we try to do. We try to help and coach real estate agents to grow. But then on the flip side, we also have videos locally in our city, Richmond, to try to pick up buyers and sellers and things like that. So that's going to be our other channel, which is Living in Richmond, Virginia. So if you're local to Richmond, you should check out Living in Richmond and subscribe to that. And otherwise, make sure you stay subscribed to this channel, our podcast, all that good stuff, because we're going to have some other videos coming out as well in 2022. Galen, you were forever posting.
So what
how
I'm
many,
doing
how
right
many
now,
selfies
like,
can you take a day?
There's like a angry man standing behind me, also known as our producer. And
Well,
like some of
I'm
these
looking-
pictures are amazing.
I'm looking at the camera and you're making the focus go crazy because it's tracking your hand.
He's like, oh god. He's like, what's happening back there? Crazy old man.
Alrighty. Deep dive topic today. I know we've been ranting a lot on these podcasts because we just love to talk to each other, and we hope
You
that
guys
you
seem to
love
love
listening to us. But we're going to try to get into these deep dives sooner rather than later. That way we can really jump in if you're out and about, get to the meat of the bones. So, Mike, let's deep dive and fill this bucket. That kind of worked, right? Still waiting on music. It's one job.
Like a potato with arms.
Mike's one job. There we go. It's really good in my one ear. And deep dive. Galen,
Hey,
question.
got it.
Will
So-
real estate... Apparently
Like,
not.
what's happening?
Will real estate agents become obsolete?
Absolutely. Wait, no, just kidding. You know, this is a great topic and question that we get because everyone wants to figure out a way to do business without humans. Now, think about it. You go to the grocery store, self checkout. I was there in that age of self checkout, and like I remember being in like people were like, "Oh no, am I out of a job?" And I'm like, "Really? We bag groceries. Do you really care that much?" So they got self checkout.
Don't
now
care at all.
even when you go to McDonald's,
I'd rather not talk to somebody at McDonald's.
Yeah, now when you go to
Right.
McDonald's, there's a like little board, you hit the buttons. But one thing that I have noticed of recent is this. This was a perfect example. I was in the airport in Las Vegas maybe 3 weeks ago. Lady's like, "Oh, I'm going to use the terminal so I can get this done quick. And she could not figure it out. And
she had to ask for help.
I mean, she's hitting all the buttons. She's asking me for help. And I'm on the phone, and I'm like, I don't.
Please stop talking to me,
Chick-fil-A.
stranger.
Just go to Chick-fil-A. And then she's asking everyone, like, I'm thought to myself, you know what? There's certain jobs, they need humans.
Yeah.
Certain people need humans. Because I don't know about you guys, but about the 10th time I call a phone number, and it's like, hit 1 for this. And I'm like, I just want to talk to human operator. Have you ever screamed operator into a phone? Well,
a lot.
There's certain jobs that you need human interaction, and I wholeheartedly feel it. Now, maybe I'm slanted because I'm a realtor, but I do not think that real estate agents are going to be obsolete. Do I think that bad real estate agents are going to be obsolete? No, they've already been obsolete.
Yeah.
They have already been unnecessary in a dying breed. A good realtor, you're going to need him in the near future, and there's several reasons why.
Galen's going in on this one. He's about to do this podcast in 12 minutes.
I'm about to go in.
Yeah, just like,
Think about it.
Calm down. Let's take one subject.
Energy.
Let's take one. No coffee for you. Goodness.
All right, well, think about this. What's some other jobs, before we get into realtor,
Okay.
what are some other jobs that you need a human to be in existence?
A massage.
I mean,
Right? I mean,
they do have.
It was like he was
massage
waiting for
guns.
somebody to ask him that.
the first thing
Way
that
too
came
prepared for that.
First thing that came to my mind. It'd
All
be
right,
really
why?
weird if a robot was yeah, I don't trust it. I'm
Okay,
not,
all right, I see that. Because I mean, even
don't you
with
tell me to
like,
turn over.
even with the massage guns and all of the other like massage things, that
Nah,
you still
not
need a
the
person.
same.
You don't want a robot doing that, right? You can't call a number. You can't outsource that. You can't put that on the World Wide Web.
I'm sorry I answered the best answer up front.
I
'cause
mean, that
now
was
I have no other answers to what you need people for. 'Cause that's as good as you can get.
Well, you know, it's a good one that I always think about is like WebMD. So many people try to diagnose themselves by
You're
going
always
to
dying.
I mean, it's like whatever it is, and WebMD does that just to cover their bases. So they're just like, hey, from a hangnail to a paper cut to stage 4 pancreatic cancer, the end result is death.
But let's be real, because you use that as an example, but for someone to get a real diagnosis, they still need a doctor, even if you had a virtual platform for
You
it. So
desperately
you
need
would
a
be,
doctor.
and that's coming up right? Zoom doctors and things like that, where they
For
can
sure.
see you virtually, all that stuff. But you still need the person to do
Still
it.
need a person, right?
So, and I'm all for anything that we can make easier for
Convenience, yeah.
people. And it's not about pulling somebody out, but can we just make it easier? I mean, I bought one of my last cars from Carvana, which, if you don't know what Carvana is, it's the vending machine for
Tell
cars. And you can buy a car on your phone in like 24 seconds. I mean, when I bought that Audi, I literally was like, I think I just bought a car. We were like, how do you,
Wait until it shows up.
It's the best way to buy a car these days.
I mean,
Tesla
you don't have
does
the
it.
salesperson to deal with. It's
awesome.
cheaper. They show up at your house. So the thing is, are we salespeople? Technically, yes. But we're not out there trying to sell you a house, right? We're just trying to guide you. So there's a difference between being a salesman and an advisor. And a lot of times with a car salesperson, I don't really need them to try to pitch me. I know what I want. But for someone that doesn't know what they want, a car salesman is still very important, right? To be able to go to a dealer and check options and everything like that if they need it. But what brought this conversation about, really, I think, is why we came up with this topic, was the whole Zillow iBuying fiasco.
Absolutely.
So if you don't know, which I'm sure if you're listening to this at all, you're very well aware, Zillow decided that they were going to cut realtors out of the business and go buy houses all over the country. And then they were going to fix them up and resell them and try to cut realtors out of the deal. But how did that go, Galen?
It didn't go well. I'm going to be honest with you. I think what happened was Zillow they already aggregate data, right? And so they started saying, you know what? We know the prices, time on markets. We can give you a Zestimate.
Yeah.
And we've talked about Zestimates and like their plus or minus in the past. And so they started to say, well, we can probably just make an offer on your house. And we think that'll go well. Well, the problem is it started to fall completely apart, and they completely had to withdraw it. All of the money that they threw into it, all the advertising, the millions of dollars, all that stuff, it all crumbled down because you need a person, because no one trusts these estimates. No one trusts whether it's going to take place. People were afraid to use it. Their average prices were off, and so people were like, that's That's not close to being what my house is worth. I could easily get the better price on the market. And they're like, oh, but the data says, and that is a lot of time what we see. A lot of people say, well, my house is worth this according to my Z estimate.
Well, and a lot of times Zillow is buying the houses at more than the houses were worth too, because of their estimates. So it just goes to show you just how off the estimates are in general.
Was it 20%?
Well, so the way that they say is in their best markets, they're up to 10% off on a up or down, right? So I mean, if you're in a $500,000 house, it could be worth $450, it could be worth $550, but that's a $100,000 swing. And now Zillow's coming in and saying, all right, well, we'll give you the $475. They're hoping that they can turn around and sell it for whatever, $490, $500 with no fees and make a little money. But that did not happen. So they had to pull out, they had to cut staff. They realized this did not work. We need to go back to the drawing board. So when we think about real estate agents, why are they so crucial? Or if you've got notes, you can throw out your thought. But
okay.
But really, I mean, what is the real estate agent's sole job?
For my opinion?
Sure.
One of the things that I do, and I think I do it pretty well, is that I navigate people through a difficult process. I make the real estate transaction relatively easy. And the only reason I'm able to do that is because I've got experience and I know which way to go, which phone number to call. And that is a lot of times there's certain questions in a real estate transaction. I had this conversation with a buyer the other day. There's certain questions in a real estate transaction that you just don't want to Google the answer to.
Yeah.
It's just a bad idea to do it, because that it's either one, you're going to find an answer that might not be your state specific. Might not be your situation specific, might not be, there's tax implications. You could end up losing money. You could end up having your transaction fall apart because maybe the data that someone put on was from 2019. And what happens every year when it comes to real estate? Well, there's a new adjustment, there's a new change, there's a new law, there's a new transaction policy. And so you need a realtor who's up on all of those things that can defend and articulate your best interest.
So really, number one then would be that we're a knowledge broker.
Knowledge broker,
right?
Absolutely.
I mean, think about it like this. Even if you've bought or sold a house before without a realtor, or even if you used a realtor and you said, now I know the process, the average buyer or seller only moves every 7 or 8 years. And stuff drastically changes from year to year. I mean, our paperwork changes literally probably every 6 months. We get paperwork. And realtors are really bad at it too. Don't get me wrong. Realtors that don't write a lot of offers, they will botch stuff so bad when like a change comes in because they don't realize that it changed because they haven't written an offer in 6 months. But at the end of the day, the knowledge is probably the biggest thing up front, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Just the guidance. It's not about, I mean, even finding a house too. Like you can go on Zillow, like we said, and you can look for a house. But at the end of the day, who's working for you if you set up a showing with the list agent or the seller?
Yeah, I think there's, the piggyback off that, there's no more, in my opinion, vulnerable situation to be in is when one side has a realtor and the other side does not.
Yeah.
Because it's like, man, it's like he's not working for you. He might, I can help you. I'm like, but ultimately he's got that buyer brokerage agreement with one side that he's probably
listing agreement.
He's got a substantial relationship with them. And so he's a family friend, he's going to defend them. And so you're left kind of, vulnerable, open to, not say taken advantage of, but, if it comes to push to shove, you're getting shoved.
Yeah.
Do you think the time of change where the younger people like nowadays are going to be coming in the next 10 years or buying a home, they're okay with the process of being less human reaction because it's just the time of change and that's how things are done?
Yeah, and in all honesty, I think that we should move to less interaction overall and streamlining the process, whether you pull a realtor out or not. See, at the end of the day, you think about it, the MLS used to just be printed in binders. And if you wanted to buy a house back in the day, you'd be like, here's our binder of houses.
Here's all the houses.
Well, photography was also not a thing 20 years ago.
Well, and you have to think, like, at the end of the day, think about how far we've come. Can you imagine, like, I mean, Galen, how much do you hate when you, like, a buyer sets up showings on a house and you, like, get to it, and they're just like, oh no, I hate it. We don't have to go inside.
Yeah.
Oh no, this neighborhood's terrible, right? So back then, and you have pictures, and you have details, and you have Google Maps, and you have all of these
They're
things
like, oh,
now.
it's right across the street from a cemetery. It's
Oh
like,
my-
yeah, that's what the
all
pictures
of the
show.
things you could have figured out. But like back in the day, you would have literally just been like, all right, well, there's 4 houses in my binder, and I don't have pictures of them, and I don't have any information, and I've got a printed map so that I've outlined directions to
Hop
them.
in my car.
Hop in my car. We're gonna drive around, and we're gonna see how you like the neighborhoods. Like this. It's terrible. Nowadays, you can look right. So we've made that easier, right?
Yes.
We used to not be able to electronically sign documents. So if you wanted to sign
So
a
much
contract,
better.
you'd be like, all right, Agnes, I'll be at your house tonight at 8:30, and we'll sign all these things off, and then I'll go back and fax it over to the other side, and it'll look like it came out of a burnt toaster, and we'll try to put this contract together.
Then
Right?
they'll be like, hey, can you refax it? The toner is off, can't read it. And you're like, we do this about 6 or 7 more times.
So we've streamlined the process to make it easy, but at the end of the day, you still need that knowledge broker, right? So could you somehow streamline it more where maybe you have some kind of company that gives that knowledge to somebody? Possibly. But now who's going to show the houses, right? So now it's like, all right, maybe you've got some kind of company that says, here's all the knowledge you need to get through this process by yourself. Great. Who's going to show me the houses? Who's going to open the door? I mean, that may be a simplified thing of, I don't know. You would think that would
Like
be
a code or something.
maybe.
There's certain things that I always look at. There's certain aspects of human nature that just can't be eliminated. It's like trust, right?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, so I give this person the code to come to my house by themselves. I don't really know them. Like, at least right now, you've got a realtor. He's got a license. There's ramifications for his actions.
Yeah.
So there's like certain things that like trust is on both sides. You need to like some. Like I've had so many clients. The perfect example is a client. They are from another country. They said, just tell me straight. He kept on saying that. Just tell me straight. Just talk to me straight. Like, what am I doing? What's the ramifications? It's like, I can't imagine his situation. He's like coming here, then he's got to like Google or just like read a document and be like, well, I hope I'm reading this correctly. I hope I'm understanding these laws correctly so that I'm not, put in a terrible position.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, like there's going to be certain times where maybe it's more likely that you'll need a buyer's agent over a listing agent. Like right now, houses are hot, right?
For sure.
So you could definitely put your house online and try to do a for sale by owner and probably get it sold. Statistically, though, you'll always sell it for less than if you sold with a realtor. It's like 10 to 20% less on average that you would sell that house without a realtor. But let's just forget the statistics. Can it be done? Sure. But then once the markets turn again, right, and now it's into the buyer's favor, well, again, now you're going to want somebody that's actually going to go out and market that house and take real pictures and have relationships with other realtors and have other buyers on their lists and things like that. So at the end of the day, I think it comes down to convenience as well. We talked about Carvana. It's so easy to buy a car through Carvana, and it's incredibly easy. CarMax, great, right? There's no haggle, right?
Yeah.
They may not give you the best trade-in value.
I was just thinking about that.
It's also a great Carvana's great if you want to sell your car.
That's
Like,
it too. So
less
the way I
than
look
10
at
minutes.
it is you had car dealers, and the way I look at it is you had car dealers for a long time, and you just had to go to a car dealer. Then CarMax came in, and they were like, we're not going to haggle. We're not going to do discounts. We're going to do simple trade-ins. It is what it is. And all of the car dealerships thought that they were crazy. They were like, this isn't going to work. This is a dumb idea. And then it worked. And then Carvana came in, and they're like, we don't even need you to come in. We're just going to drop the cars off. We don't need dealerships. So they've made this progress. Car dealerships are still a thing, but the way I look at it is it's what do you want, right? If you want to trade your car, you can put it on Craigslist, and you can deal with all of the buyers and the tire kickers and the scam artists and the people from Nigeria and everything else that
Sorry,
you want.
people from Nigeria. There's nothing
If
wrong
you're
with you
listening in
guys.
Nigeria, you're not all scam artists, but you got to deal with the hassle, right? And maybe you'll get another $1,000 or $2,000 more for your car, or you can take it into the dealer and you can trade it in, right? And you can haggle and fight with the salesman all day and maybe get a little bit more than CarMax would give you, but you can feel like you one-upped them, and then you can go buy whatever car you want at that dealer. Again, if it's Honda, I guess you're probably buying a Honda. You're trading in at that one. Or you come in with CarMax and you say, hey, they're not going to haggle me. They're going to give me what I want. I can drive off in a car today. Or you can Carvana and they can come pick it up, right? Each option, there's no wrong option.
No.
It's just which is your preference? And I think that's where real estate agents fall. Can you for sale by owner? Yeah, of course you can. You don't have the paperwork. It's going to be a nightmare. The agent on the other side is going to hate you. Most likely it will not be smooth. It will probably not be fully legal because you're probably not going to give out your residential property disclosures and your lead-based paint disclosures and all the other stuff you're supposed to be doing. But you can do it. Can you buy a house without a realtor?
Yeah.
100%. It saves you absolutely zero money. You don't get represented. It's a train wreck, but you can do it. Can you sell your house with a discount broker? 100%, right? You can get it in MLS. You can pay them a flat fee. They're not going to do all the legwork for you, but they'll get it into the MLS for you so that other agents will see it. Great. Can you do full service? 100%. So I look at real estate agents like us as we're the full service, zero hassle option, right? If you're okay with paying the money, we're going to make sure that this is the smoothest process, the easiest process. You're not going to have to worry about things. You're not going to have to stress about things. And at the end of the day, the reason real estate agents will not ever become obsolete is because there's always people out there that want the convenience over the hassle.
Yeah. I always think about just like the idea of like, there's certain things like I don't want to be stressed out doing certain things, right?
Yeah.
I don't like spending money. Like I was trying to like buy something the other day and I was like, it was like shirts or something. I was just like, oh my goodness, like I got to do this. And
personal
like,
shoppers.
Could you imagine? Yeah, as you can do a personal shopper. Yeah, it's like, like you want that stress free because what happens if it's like a nightmare? It's like, are you likely going to do it again?
No,
you're definitely not.
I'm building a house right this second. I flip houses. If you're looking at our YouTube banner or whatever it is, you see that we're flippers, we're builders, we're realtors. We do all of that stuff. Could I have built my own custom house on my lot? Sure. Would it be an absolute nightmare? 100%. In a year, I wouldn't want to live in the house. I'd be like, forget this house. So I know that I'm now going to have to pay a builder. You know, he's probably going to make well over $100,000, I would imagine, on this build, right? That's a huge paycheck for somebody and a huge loss to me if I could have saved over $100,000, $120,000, $140,000. I don't know, whatever it is. I'm guessing with that, the margins, I'm guessing that's what it is, maybe a little more. But I paid for the convenience.
I was thinking, like, when I was thinking about you about this topic the other day, just about like very similar. You're very good with cars. Mm-hmm. Like you grew up as a kid having a background of like working on your car.
But
right?
I will never do an oil change in my Porsches.
Last time you did anything to your car, right?
Never.
Exactly. It's like there's a convenience and a comfort of just saying, "Hey, are mechanics obsolete?" No. They're not. I mean, I don't care how many YouTube videos you watch.
I'll take it a step further and say that even if I was like I am now, like once I got Porsches and exotics, I'm also not the oldest person. I had my first Porsche at 23. I'm 32 now. I'm on like the fifth or sixth one. I just know that any older person buying a Porsche from a 20-some-year-old or now 32-year-old is going to want to see records. So I think that the records
he doesn't want to hear that you did it yourself.
Oh, I'm pro. I've been oil changing this thing.
Swapped out all
changed
that.
out all the brakes, all those things. Yeah,
top-notch brake pads.
But here's the thing. We'll take it a step further and say that I even pay more to service it at Porsche because I know that I can call Porsche and they're going to have a car waiting for me. To pick
absolutely.
up. They're going to wash my car when I drop it off, so it's going to be clean when I come to pick it up, right? It's concierge service. If I have to sit there and wait, I've got food, I've got
coffee, Wi-Fi,
like sparkling water, Perrier, whatever, right?
Well, the thing is that also the older, and this is back to my point about younger and newer. Like I think about my mother-in-law and my father-in-law. They had no clue how to go about the day and age of selling a house. Like that's why you did it, and so I knew you were going to do the right job and stuff like that. But when they bought their last car, they were shocked that when I went with them, they were done in less than 20 minutes. The last time they bought their car, they were there for 8 hours.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, and so actually, Galen had said something at the beginning that rings true to that, and that's maybe like this the last point that we'll touch on before we wrap this up. And that is, I wrote down, some people will always need help.
Oh yeah.
So that's the other thing. Not only will people pay for convenience because it just makes their life easier. They're like, take my 6%, right? But then on the top of that, some people are just, no matter where they are, they're going to be a first-time home buyer. They're going to be older and just not know. They're going to be clueless. Whatever it is, this isn't their thing, right? So it's just like, whatever. If I need the help, I have to pay somebody to help me. And that's how everything is in life, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
100%.
Literally almost everything in life is rooted around convenience. Every business is find a need, for something that people don't want to do, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
solve that need. And that's how every successful business
How do you want to
starts.
spend your time? Right?
So at
do you
what-
want to be a part-time Google realtor, or
That's
do you
it.
want to just say like, hey, let me let this guy take care of it, speed and convenience?
So can technology get iBuying right at some point, unlike Zillow? Maybe.
yeah.
Can technology get one maybe lawyer or agent or closing company in the middle of a deal and let it all work out? Hey, maybe a great business idea would be somebody that is FISBOing to bring buyers in and say, hey, there's this company that once we have the buyer, they will do everything in the middle for us, and it works out. I mean, and maybe there's a company like that out there already,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there's stuff like that would work great. But at the end of the day, there's always going to be that seller that says, man, can someone put a sign out here and let me not deal with this? And there's always going to be a buyer that says, I am tired of calling every listing agent on every house and feeling like someone's trying to swindle me
Yep.
into buying this house. I just need somebody to guide me. I don't know what inspectors to call. I don't know what lawyers to call. I don't know what closing companies to call. I don't know what a termite inspection is. I've never seen a termite.
Who pays for this? I've been
Who
talking
pays
to
for
someone
this?
about that this morning. They're
Yeah.
like, why do I have? I'm like, you don't have to pay for it. Just
Someone
relax.
explain this paperwork to me. You know what I mean?
I wrote down, when problems arise, when you need questions answered, and a calm wind on an angry ocean.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's so
guys.
beautiful.
I'm a poet at heart.
All right. So, Galen, will real estate agents become obsolete?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Why? Because people love convenience and people will always need help. That's it. That's our show today, RVA Real Estate Talk, podcast number 26. Thank you for listening. I'm Jared Davis.
And I'm still Galen Parker.
That's right. If you want to reach out and follow us, feel free to like, subscribe on our YouTube, Living in Richmond, our new YouTube channel. Please, please, please go out and check that out as well.
Coming too fast.
And then Instagram __ the Davis Group. Please let us know how we can help you build your real estate business. Feel free to reach out to us at any time.
If you have a real estate question that you would like to ask Jared or Galen, reach out to them at jared@centralvarealty.com or galen@centralvarealty.com. Who knows, it may even be featured on an upcoming episode.